Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara, and whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another one today. Today I am going to be doing 3 5-minute looks with the Nars Afterglow Tempting palette. So if you want to hear about the palette and see the looks that I created, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think, and if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with those who feel the same way, definitely consider joining the community because I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I cannot complain. It is President's Day. We are off work and it is windy here. Like, it is so windy. Let me know how you're doing in the comment section or the chat, whichever you prefer, and let's get this show on the road. So I looked at this palette. I think it came out maybe sometime in December, and I always thought it was really cute, but I did not push the button on it right away. Over Christmas time, I did get a gift card and I decided to go ahead and purchase this palette. So let me go ahead and show it to you. This is the Nars Afterglow Tempting Eyeshadow Palette. It has 9 shades and it was $49. I did purchase this from Sephora. We're gonna go ahead and get into the swatches and then the 3 looks. So the first shade we have is called Love Me Not. It's a pearlescent glitter. Where are we gonna swatch these? Let's do here. Sweet Nothing is a champagne silver glitter. This one is very sparkly and thin. It's very sheer, but it's going to give you that wet effect on the eye. Unwritten is a matte sepia. Haze is a matte orchid. Feeling It is a rose and teal glitter. It's kind of duochrome shade. You can kind of see that color flip there. No Lies is a shimmering mink brown. I'll just put it next to here. Take You There is a shimmering plum. Honeymooner is a glittering rose. Follow Me is a deep matte aubergine. So here are the shades in the Afterglow palette. I'm gonna go ahead into comparisons first because I just realized I forgot to do that and I already filmed the end of the video. I'm just gonna grab, because I didn't even pull anything, I'm gonna grab a couple palettes that come to mind that you might have in your collection that you can pull out if you want to achieve either of the looks that I'm gonna create in this video. So I will be right back with a couple palettes. All right, y'all, I grabbed 4 palettes and I haven't really looked at them to really compare them, so they may or may not be on point, so I might exclude them. The first one I grabbed, this is actually the last one I grabbed, but I want to talk about it first because I think it's the least closest out of what I chose. This is the Patrick Todd Major Dimension 2 palette, and this is the one that has more of those rosy tones. And I know it's not super close, but I was honestly thinking, I was kind of thinking about these 2 shades here and then the shimmers. I think you could pull off something similar, not exact, because this palette does have more brown, but if you look at the shades kind of near each other, this matte brown here is really similar. There really isn't an aubergine. This is actually really warm, I think, so this might not have been a great choice. However, I think, yeah, I don't think it was a great choice actually. Okay, scrap that. However, I'm gonna leave this in because if you have the Patrick Todd Major Dimension 2 palette and you haven't used it, maybe you'll want to use it. Okay, the next palette I do think is similar, and this is the Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty. It is, yeah. So I think that the shimmers, there are very similar shimmers, and then you have these 2 mattes. That one's close to the aubergine shade. Again, there's no like brown, but I do think the colors are close. And like even like this shimmer right here, like I'm not going to swatch them and all compare them all, but because it's just really about a vibe, it's not really about an exact dupe. Oh, I'm sorry, you do have like this deep shade too. I think you can get a really close look. You have this shade here, you have that kind of orchid color. So if you have the rose quartz palette, I don't think you really need this one. This one's really close, more shades, and it's hard to see how close they are because of how they're spread out and how they're organized, but I think you could really achieve the looks that I did with this palette. The first palette that I actually thought about, and this is the first time I'm looking at it though, like side by side, is gonna be Divine Rose by none other than Mama Pat, who did not give us a mothership. I will say that every time. I thought about this palette because of the coolness of it and like those mauve-y shades. There's not that bright orchid color or the deep aubergine though. She has a palette that has extreme aubergine in it, but I still think that you can get a very similar vibe using these two palettes. Let me know what you think. Am I off? Let me know. But that's the first palette I really thought about when I thought, hey, I don't really need this palette in my collection. I still bought it anyway. The very last palette I have that might be a stretch, but it's a palette that I love. It's the Natasha Denona Retro palette. You have a lot of those beautiful mauve shades in this palette, the cool tones. There's not the bright orchid shade, and the shimmers are a little bit different. The formula is a little bit different. But again, this is all about scratching the itch so that you're not purchasing something that you already have, or that you're gonna look back and be like, why did I purchase this palette? I pretty much have the same color story in something that I already have. So looking at them next to each other, I do think there are a lot of similarities. Those are the four palettes that I thought of immediately, and I may have more in my collection, but those are the ones that really came to mind. So I am going to stop there, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 3 looks that I did with the Nars Afterglow Tempting palette, and then I'll be back with my final thoughts. All right, y'all, let's get into this first look. We are going to start with the shade Unwritten, and I am taking a blending brush. Oh, I'm going super fast. And I'm just blending into the outer crease and the outer corner. I'm now going into the shade Feeling It, which is a duochrome, and I'm putting that just all over the lid. Use a glitter glue if you have one, or a setting spray, but I do like using my fingers. And then I'm going back in to Unwritten for the lower lash line. Now I'm going into this shade Love Me Not for the inner corner. Hoiloint. Got a little liner here from ColourPop, a little plum liner there. Getting on my mascara, my Grande Drama Lash, and there we have look number 1. And this is actually, I've just decided it's my favorite. Yes, my first and favorite. All right, let's get into look number 2. August has me smelling his hand. I don't know why. It's strange. Going into Follow Me, the aubergine shade, I'm just taking a blending brush and starting on the outer corner, just blending it out. The mattes are really, really nice here. Going into Haze, which is that orchid shade. I didn't know how to use it, so I'm using it to make the look a little more ethereal and just softening up the aubergine shade. Now I'm taking the shade No Lies, and I'm putting that on the lid. I'm just using a pencil brush to get it into the inner corner. Back into Follow Me for the lower lash line. And for the inner corner, Hoiloint, I'm taking the shade Sweet Nothing on a pencil brush. Got my mascara, same mascara from last time. And here we have look number 2. So let me know what you think. We're about to talk through the next one. All right, y'all, we're back to do the third look with the Nars Afterglow Tempting eyeshadow palette. It's been probably about a week, so I'm gonna see how I'm still feeling about it. Let me tell you about this lipstick, because it's the first time I've worn it, and I want to mention what it is. This is the Prada Monochrome Matte, and I think the shade is Caramel. I'm almost certain. Just stuff I just am holding on to for a rainy day or something, I don't know. But I do like it. It's not worth $50, so there's that. All right, let's get into this palette for the final look and talk through this one. I'm gonna go back to the brown, and I've got clean brushes today. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Singe Beauty brush, and I'm guessing the shade, this one right here. So I think it's called Unwritten, this one. And just gonna go ahead And we're gonna try to do like a little spotlight eye. Not sure how much variation this is gonna have from the first look. I can't even remember. Well, the first look, I know I used that middle shade, which I'm not gonna be using today. And these mattes blend really nicely. I don't really use a lot of Nars eyeshadows. I do have the Climax palette, and that's it. So everything else from Nars is usually like with the blush palette or something like that. So yeah. So yeah, I love, what's up? I love that shade. That's like a perfect transition shade for me. And now I'm gonna take that shade again, just using this brush from Unearthly to help me get in the inner corner area and the first part of the lid. Then I'll go back into the other brush to kind of blend it out. And again, I'll try not to, I was supposed to start a timer, shoot. It's 2:17. I think I probably started like, what, a minute ago, like 2:16. We'll see if the look really takes 5 minutes. I'm gonna go into the same shade for the under eye. And let's see, I can't remember which shade I used. So we got this nice little pink shade. We have this shade right here, which is what I was thinking about. I might have used that in the inner corner. I can't remember. I might have used that one too. I'm gonna go with this light champagne shade. Ooh, and I'm just gonna kind of haphazardly tap. Oh yes, that was a good choice. But all of these shades go with each other, so you're not gonna really mess up any look that you do with this palette. What I will say is that I did have some fallout during the day, so it would behoove all of us to use a setting spray or glitter glue with these shimmers, because they are very sparkly, but they're on the drier side. So really nice quality, kind of gives that wet effect, but I definitely had sparkles on my face throughout the day. I think I'm actually gonna just use some of this e.l.f. setting spray and just maybe tap over top. I don't know if that's gonna help me out, but it might. Yeah, because I definitely have fallout already. And it definitely doesn't look like it's coming off. And that's okay, because that's how you learn and know what you can do with the palette. Now I'm gonna go into this pink shade here for the inner corner. Wait. See what that looks like. Hopefully not too dark. Nope. What I said, 2:16, 17, 18, 19. I'm gonna put on my mascara, and that's gonna be the look. And I would wear this look to work, but I would also wear it going out. I think that this palette is versatile. It's not super deep, but you have, I don't know. This is not gonna be deep enough. It's not gonna be deep enough for everybody. But for the looks that I do, I can pull off a smoky eye with this palette. So I'm happy with it. This is the Grande or Grand Drama mascara. I have another one on the way because it's 30% off. I think this is my favorite. It goes really nicely with the lash serum by the same brand. And I told you about my lipstick. The blush is Natasha Denona, one of the new ones, soft mauve, fresh mauve. So I I'll be demoing that in another video. But here is the third and final look. So let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts. And that look took about 4 minutes to achieve. And I think it really looks nice. I liked all three looks that I did with this palette. I'm not really a huge fan of this shade right here. I don't think I'm gonna use it too much. It's just really not my vibe, and I tried not to really use it. I think I used it in the middle look, the second look, just to kind of outline and make the look a little more ethereal, but I could do without that shade. I think that all the other shades in the palette work really well together. They're very cohesive. This is more of a pop shade, so I still don't think that you're gonna get a bad look out of this palette. Perhaps I might like the purple if I used this on the lid and then did an all matte look and maybe faded this one into this deep shade right here. I think I might like something like that. So that would be something to try in the future. As far as the quality of the palette, I think the quality of the palette is excellent. I think it's a palette that someone could easily reach for and just throw something together. Some of the shimmers are really thin. They are sheer, like this one here, and then some of them are your typical metallics that are a little more opaque, so you do have a couple different formulas to play around with, but this is going to be a basic, easy to reach for palette that someone could wear every day, and I think is very beginner friendly. It's not overwhelming, you know, regarding the number of shades and the colors that are in the palette. It all goes together and it's pretty foolproof if you ask me. I know that Nars comes out with a lot of similar palettes, but this one looks a little different. Maybe it's because it seems to be a little more cool toned than some of their other palettes. They're 9 pans and they have, I think, some 12 pans that kind of all look the same, kind of that orgasm-y pink color you see in those warm browns. This one just has a little bit of a different vibe and it caught my eye, and that's why, you know, after a couple of months of thinking about it, I decided to use my gift card to go ahead and get this. So I don't have any regrets about the palette. I've just been going for just easy looks, maybe only using 2 shades lately. So those size palettes have really been working for me and been right up my alley, and it allows me to do a really beautiful look in a short amount of time. So overall, I think this palette is a win. Do I think it's worth the $49 price? I would say no. I would say like 30 maybe. The price that you can get the Huda Beauty ones that are this size, I think it's worth around that price. I think $50 is a bit steep for this palette because I do have the Makeup by Mario palette that I really like, and even my Skin by Kim palette that has the 12 shades, and some of the shimmers are very similar to the sparkly thin shimmers in the Skin by Kim palette as well as the Makeup by Mario palette. And so you get 3 more shades, and the price is $50. So I do think this is a bit overpriced. So if you have a gift card, or when Nars has like their 25% off, or maybe for Sephora VIB, I would consider getting this on sale. But if I didn't have a gift card, I don't think I would have purchased this palette for the regular price. Let me know if you purchased this palette and what you think about the Nars eyeshadow formula. I really do like it, and again, it's small. It's what I've been going for these days, so I'm happy to add this one to my collection. As far as the 1 in 1 out rule, I'm still doing declutters, so I haven't really started the 1 in 1 out because I have already decluttered 63 palettes and I'm still going. So at the end, hopefully at some point in 2025, I will have a final count of the palettes I have as I continue to do this rolling declutter. That's going to be it for this video. All the information about this palette is going to be in the description box. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Go on, block your